ADA Abstract Committee for allowing me to present the results of the largest FreestyleLibre audit in the United Kingdom. I am presenting these results on behalf of the ABCD FSL audit team. These are our disclosures. FreestyleLibre is a flash glucose monitoring system which monitors the interstitial glucose levels. It consists of a sensor and a microfilament which is worn on the back of the arm and a handheld reader. When the reader is passed over the sensor, it shows the interstitial glucose level. The sensor lasts for 14 days and then it needs to be replaced. We recently conducted a nationwide audit of FreestyleLibre and showed its effect on glycemic control, hypoglycemia, and diabetes-related distress. So I just wanted to show those results in a snapshot. In this first part of the audit, we showed that use of FreestyleLibre was associated with a drop in the HbA1c around 6 to 7 months after its first use. This drop in HbA1c was more pronounced, up to 1.2% in patients who had a higher baseline HbA1c, that is around 8.5%. We also showed in this audit that the diabetes-related distress significantly dropped following the use of FreestyleLibre in patients with type 1 diabetes. Now, we wanted to understand what is driving these beneficial effects. We hypothesized that with the use of FreestyleLibre, patients with type 1 diabetes are able to stay maximum amount of time within their prescribed range of blood glucose, and hence they have these beneficial effects. So our study objective was to understand the association of time in range around 3.9 to 10 millimoles per liter of blood sugar over 14 days on HbA1c to understand the glycemic control and hypoglycemia awareness. So not everyone in the study had a strict time in range of around 3.9 to 10 millimoles per liter. However, for majority of the patients in the audit, the target time in range for the blood sugars were between these two ranges. Now quickly moving on to the study methods. How was this audit conducted? So this audit was conducted all across the UK, as you can see on the figure on the left, in around 114 centers or 114 NHS hospitals. We developed a secure IT tool on the NHS computer network to make this process as secure and as user-friendly as possible. Clinicians who used FSL were invited to submit the data they routinely collect on the form, which looks something like the form on the left side. These forms could either be completed in the clinic or the clinicians could fill them real time on the online tool. Now quickly moving on to the results. This slide shows the demographic characteristics of the study population. The sample size was around 2,191 patients. The median age of the study population was 42, and majority of them had type 1 diabetes. Approximately half of them were females with a BMI of 25, a baseline HbA1c of 64.2, which is equal to 8% HbA1c, and the median follow-up was around 7.5 months. There were large variations in the individualized target TIR. However, more than 99% of the patients had ranges in between 3.9 to 10 millimoles with a median TIR 14, that is time in range measured across 14 days, of around 43%. Now let's look at the results of the time in range, association of time in range on HbA1c. In this slide, we have divided the patients with type 1 diabetes into two groups. The group 1 TIR represents those patients who were within their prescribed time in range less than 50% of the time. And in group 2, we had patients who were within their prescribed time in range more than 50% of the times. We then compare their HbA1c pre and post FSL in both the groups. You can see that in group 1, the HbA1c has dropped by around 1%, and in group 2, it has dropped by around 0.6%. Both were statistically significant, but we did not see much difference in decline in HbA1c between the two groups. Next, we then looked at patients who had a high baseline HbA1c. That means HbA1c more than 8.5% at baseline. Now we see a difference here. In group 1, that is patients for whom the time in range was less than 50% of the time, the HbA1c dropped by 1%. However, in group 2, that is type 1 diabetes patients for whom the time in range was more than 50%, the HbA1c drop was much more significant and was around 1.9%. Next, we looked of the effect of time in range on hypoglycemia. To understand the effect of time in range on hypoglycemia, we used something called as a gold score. So what is a gold score? A gold score is an instrument which measures hypoglycemia unawareness. It ranges from 1 to 7, and a score of 4 or more indicates hypoglycemia unawareness. We again compared the gold score in group 1 and group 2 before and after FSL. In the group 1, the gold score fell by 0.25 points, while in group 2, that is in patients who had time in range for more than 50% of the time, the gold score fell significantly, much more significantly, by 0.45 units. So to summarize our findings, we showed that individualized time in range across 14 days of more than or equal to 50% is associated with a significant improvement in HbA1c in those with a high baseline HbA1c. It is also associated with a significant improvement in the gold score, indicating an improvement in the hypoglycemia unawareness. We definitely need more follow-up data to see if these beneficial effects are sustained. With this, I would like to offer my acknowledgements to people living with type 1 diabetes all across the UK who participated in this audit, clinicians and support staff at each of these hospitals, and finally the Association of British Clinical Diabetologists. And these are all the hospitals which contributed for this study. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Van Neen.